Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Tiabu and I am here for more treasure hunting and probably the last show that I'm watching for today because it's narrowing in on 5 p.m. and that means that things probably won't be up until past midnight. Ugh. We've watched 4 shows today, that's enough. There were 8 to start with, so we cut it down by half. That's good. First show of the day is Bungou to Alchemist, a new anime coming out of Studio OLM, the studio responsible for lots of long-running kids shows like Pokemon and many other things, based on what is apparently a collectible online card battle game of sorts. Okay, and it is being directed by Watanabe, who is also the director of Mix, which I have not seen, and Tokyo Ghoul Re, which I have heard only terrible things about, and only heard people in the Tokyo Ghoul fandom very literally going Re because they hated it. Doesn't fill me with the most confidence, and the sort of ikemen aesthetic that I seem to see in some of the promotional material also doesn't fill me with the most confidence. But I've been wrong before, and maybe we'll get some cool stuff. We've got an interesting idea at the core of this, I think, which I just came across because I was looking for what the game is about and found that it's essentially like kind of like Fate-ish, but you summon historical Japanese writers, and they fight for you against, I think, illiteracy demons, something like that. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. But we're going to have historical writer people that I'm probably not going to recognize too much because I don't know that much about Japanese literature. And they're probably going to fight illiteracy demons or something. Let's see if it's cool. I've got episode 1 of Bungou to Alchemist up and ready to go. Sitting at 0 seconds, there will be 2 versions of this reaction. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you'd like to sync up your own copy of this episode with the timer-based version, you're welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready because the beep beep timer to count you down will be coming at you now. Hey, Sky! We haven't seen many Sky openings today. There were a lot yesterday. We in Rome? Who the fuck is she? Why do I care? Oh, he's not here. That is some bright fucking red hair you got there, bud. It is like metallic. What? What? Melos. It was a unique style. Doing everything as though it's stained glass. It's pretty cool. And then lighting it up from behind. As if from behind. Those are some pretty cool cuts. Reasonable assumption. Why? Oh, I guess they're friends. The story's already been written. It's already a legend. I've already read your tale. Oh, okay. We're inside a book now. New tab. Mellows. Myth. Run, Mellows. What? Widely read classic in Japanese schools by Osamu Dazai. And that character right there, that that one, that's Osamu Dazai, right? Okay. No, you know he'll be fine. I don't think he's got much. Oh, thanks. What if he gets there too late? That would suck. Oh. Ha? I don't think that's how the story goes. And the author is here to prevent that. Aha. Illiteracy demons. Hmm. A delver. So their intent is to ruin stories, and his goal is to prevent that. But he's Melos. But Melos is a figment of Dazai's imagination. What's happening? Second. Not yet. Where do they come from? Right next to Uranus. Sorry. Okay. So you're not Daze. Who the fuck are you? Change the contents before destroying it. Make sure the stories play out the way that they're supposed to. Mm-hmm. Oof. Thanks. Oh. Oh. Delvers can. That's a big demon boy. Hmm. Henshin? Yup. Okay. Yay. Who are you? But who are you? Probably. Okay, bye. Ah. Mm-hmm. Is it the cat? It's the cat. Fuck. Yep. An astral being. Okay, we're heroic spirits. We're heroic spirits. All right. Sure. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The person who he feels betrayed him. That name. Wakaran Fucking hell. His tail is like a brush. All right. You have been drafted. It knows it's a little bit ridiculous. Yeah. Shut up, it's an online game. Akutagawa. We got a name. Oh, the one that he was. Oh, okay. For the prize. You did not. Okay. So we're gonna go protect other books from being tainted by the taints, and we'll gather some other authors into our group of authors who dive into books and save them from shit. What? We got a cooking segment? Nope. Maybe. Okay. This is a weird one. I don't hate it. I also don't like it. It's got a creative core idea that isn't clear to us until it becomes clear to us, which makes it an interesting introduction to this rather mysterious world that starts out. It's pretty clear just from Googling Run Melos. It's a Japanese short story by Osamu Dazai, blah, 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 blah. Prominent theme is unwavering friendship. Despite facing friendships, the protagonist does his best to save his friend's life, and in the end his efforts are rewarded. Young shepherd with a sense of equity. Dionysus is a tyrant, has killed many people. He becomes enraged, decides to try to assassinate the king, sneaks in with a knife, owns up to his plan, pleads that he should be able to go back to organize his younger sister's marriage, offers his friend Selenuntius as a hostage to be executed in his stead. The king agrees and offers him a full pardon should he return moments too late. Okay. So if Melos comes back even a moment too late, Melos will be entirely forgiven, but his friend will be executed. Melos insists that in saving his own life is not his intention. Selenuntius readily agrees because he knows that Melos is a homie. Melos gets them married really fast, oversleeps, sets off running, encounters many trials, a broken bridge, attacks by bandits, exhausted, fatigued, becoming indifferent to the fate, almost gives up, contemplates, reinvigorates himself by drinking water from a clear spring, which instead is given to him by Akutagawa this time, and then he eventually persists regardless, gets there just in time, and the king is forced to ends up letting them both go because the crowd is super into them. Okay, cool. So the reason that I went through that is pretty simple. Apparently, this is a really widely read story that is frequently read in Japanese schools. So almost any Japanese citizen would watch the first portions of this episode, see boy running, and any of the stuff with the tyrant, any of the stuff with any of this story, and go, oh, I know how this story goes. This is Run Melos. It's a happy story where in the end, the main boy goes ahead and saves his friend because he believes in him and he has faith and he keeps on running and he perseveres. That's great. I didn't get that because I don't have that context. But that means that, like, if you were part of the Japanese collective unconscious, you would know that. And so you would go, oh, I understand where we are. I have context for where we are in the story. I was just lost. I just had no idea. Okay. OP is pretty creative and interesting. There's some really cool cuts in it, like this one. This is pretty neat. There's some pretty neat stuff going on here with like jumping around in these 3D words and letters and doing some cool stuff. Yeah, it's pretty neat OP. And then I really like the stylized portion with all of the stained glass everything for all of the characters and such. Here, yeah, pretty neat as well. Lots of creative visual stuff, and a whole bunch of Ikemen boys. Okay, so we continue on with the story, but there are little changes to it that a Japanese person would immediately pick up on, including this guy being there, because he should not be there. The river makes perfect sense. It's part of the story. This is how it all goes. This is how it all plays. But then things start going wonky. Wait a sec, that's not Selenuntius. Why do I feel weird? Why do I feel different about this? And then the king's like, haha, you suck. And then we flash to here where he's actually inside his own subconscious, talking with his mentor, who he believes betrayed him, which is what gives him the ability to recognize that Selenuntius inside the story has had his... It's really confusing, honestly. But then we were exposited to about taints and books and the way that they function and what we're trying to do. And so we've got a solid, repeatable, battle-focused goal. By which I mean to have an ongoing collectible character or card-driven game like this, you have to have an ongoing, repeatable goal. If it's battle focused, then you need like arcs or missions or worlds, and each book would provide that for this story. Enter into book, discover what the problem is, fight the taints that are causing the problem, and solve the problem by ensuring that the story plays out in the way that it does. And it could be, I don't actually know that much about how the game functions, but it could be really interesting as like a partially a trivia thing, partially a mechanics thing. Do you know the stories well enough to fix them? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But overall, I don't love the kind of obscure introduction to the show. Granted, if I were a Japanese born and raised person who probably read this story in Japanese school, maybe I wouldn't feel so out of the loop watching a story that I'm not familiar with at all. So didn't love that. Don't much care for the character designs. They kind of feel like your classically over-designed ikemen stuff going on here, with the heavy use of gradients in the hair and the flowy designs and things. His hair is ridiculously shiny. It's a weird type of additional gradients that they've put into all the patches and areas of his hair that makes it look almost metallic, kind of like those like rainbow-ish titanium coated knives and random objects that you can see. It looks like his hair has that kind of a metallic sheen to it, which is strange. It's kind of strange looking, but I don't hate that. It's not the worst thing in the world. Action was kind of boring. It just didn't feel very oomphy to me. I just didn't really care. Even when we got the big ass, super badass giant demon monster thing, I didn't care very much. I do think that the aesthetic of the demon monster thing, this like head and arm just emerging from sketchy, almost cross-hatched weirdness, is pretty neat looking. But we finish it off with one of these, you know, one of them land behind you. Don't look back because badasses don't look at explosions. Yeah. Alright. Sure. It's fine. It's fine. But it's hamstrung by the fact that the mechanics of its world are predicated on it being a repeatable game. And I think that it's... it's nothing special beyond that. So, story stuff that I don't really care about or just can't relate to because I'm from the wrong culture to relate to it, and characters that are people who are historically important, but again, I'm from the wrong culture to care, and a type of story that I don't really care about because it's of its repeatable, reusable nature. So I don't love it. But I don't think it's bad. I think you could get really into this, especially if you have an interest in or a history with classical Japanese literature. You could get really into this. I don't think I will be getting very into this. So, we can just wrap there. Mitiabu, this Bungou to Alchemist, it was okay. It was honestly better than I expected, but I didn't get much from it, and mostly that's probably on me and how I was raised and just my knowledge of the things being referenced in this show. I'm sure it's far, 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 far more interesting if you actually have a grounding in classical Japanese lit. But I don't know. What did you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. But that'll be a wrap. Me Tiabu, this Bungou to Alchemist. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to catch you next time I start doing treasure hunting, which should be tomorrow. Cool? Cool. Peace.